That's misleading. A consistent salary range of $1,000 to $2,000 per month was communicated repeatedly in voice calls. While it wasn't a signed contract, it was stated often enough to create a reasonable expectation, especially since it was tied to game performance and reinforced multiple times without correction. That's called an implied agreement or verbal understanding, and it holds weight. Trying to discredit someone's position by mocking their financial responsibilities is unprofessional and is deflection. The issue isn't my debt. It's that I wasn't paid enough for work that directly contributed to the game's success and earnings. You're shifting the blame to avoid accountability. These messages show that I asked for a salary, not begged out of desperation. I was expecting payment based on what was promised. Trying to paint those messages as desperate instead of professional follow-ups just shows how little respect there was for developer contributions. That's not a defense, that's poor budgeting. If you're claiming you made $37,000 and also spent $60,000, which was funds even unrelated to Deadfront as you say in your own words, it also proves only that you mismanaged the funds, not that developers didn't deserve to be paid. And you still had $5,000 left from pumping up other games and projects for your interest using Deadfront money, as you've admitted elsewhere. Every serious project has a budget, spreadsheet, and paper trail. It's impossible to disclose is code for I didn't track it and don't want to be transparent. If you're paying yourself and investing in other projects first, that's misallocation of shared earnings, not a valid excuse. That's completely irrelevant. Those developers and staff are from other projects, not Deadfront, the project I worked on and the one that generated the $37,000. You can't use accomplishments or staff from unrelated games as a defense for not paying contributors on Deadfront. It's like saying, we pay people elsewhere, so it's fine if we underpay or ignore contributors here. It's misleading and avoids the real issue. That's a deflection and fear-based logic. The question isn't whether you scammed everyone, it's whether you failed to pay the people who made Deadfront successful. Just because you didn't scam everyone doesn't mean you didn't exploit or mislead contributors on this specific project. You're avoiding accountability by hiding behind your track record on unrelated work. The screenshots include other dev teams, different games, different timeframes. That is not proof that I was paid or not exploited, it's just noise to appear legitimate. I think we're talking about Deadfront, not his Lego company. He keeps pointing to developers like Birth and other games to claim he pays people fairly, but that's not Deadfront. I worked on Deadfront. These unrelated examples don't excuse not paying those of us who directly contributed to the very game he profited from. Deflecting to other devs is not a defense, it's an avoidance tactic. Don't combine the $400 bonus you promised to everyone to my salary. You called that a bonus, meaning extra. That doesn't replace the base pay you stated. That was because the game hit 5K concurrent players, which was partly because of my work. That justifies more pay, not less. Bonuses aren't a substitute for baseline pay. Also, why are you including things outside of Deadfront? Again, I was working hard for you because you misled me into believing I would get 1K to 2K and benefiting from that. You earned $14,000, Broken himself didn't invest anywhere near $34,000 US, not even 13K, as stated by Mergibler. That's a weak deflection. I asked multiple times in VC about payment and was given a consistent range of $1,000 to $2,000 based on the game's success. There was never any mention that it was merely a maybe or hypothetical. They treated it as an expectation, especially when the game started earning. Over market rate? Then where's the transparency? I never saw a budget breakdown or receipts. If you're claiming that you paid others, why was I left not paid enough despite being a lead dev who contributed major work? This feels more like favoritism or mismanagement than increased costs. The median hourly rate for full-stack dev developer is $25 per hour. Median hourly rate of junior full-stack game developer is paid $20 to $50 per hour. I was paid $500 in salary. Even if I used $20 per hour, junior full-stack game dev, I spent more than 25 hours on the game, working 10 hours a day on a week when Broken rushed updates. Of course it's revenue, but we're not asking for payouts from net profit, we're asking for basic compensation that was promised when the game succeeded. $34,000 is not a small amount. If you blew it all on unrelated projects or poor budgeting, that's not my fault. A business must pay its workers before reinvesting. This contradicts earlier claims where Broken admitted these were unrelated projects. You don't get to take community-earned money and funnel it into side projects without fulfilling your obligations to the people who built the original game. This is provably false. I was told I'd be paid depending on how well the game did. I was not given a commission, I was given nothing at all. There's a difference between long-term payment / salary and commission. But it did continue to grow. The game made tens of thousands, peaked at 8K to 9K CCU. That should have triggered the statement you made. It's dishonest to keep moving the goalposts or pretend a verbal commitment didn't exist just because it's inconvenient now. That's on the project leaders, not me. If you give verbal agreements over VC, confirm them multiple times, and then act on them, e.g., assigning full-time roles, that still counts as a commitment even if it's not legally binding. Ethically, it's clear-cut. Also, you literally wanted to make contracts. I asked for an update and you ignored me. You are very hypocritical.